Okay. So as always, let's see where we are. Right. Let's look at the exams. And you have an exam due tomorrow. No, I'm sorry. Next week sometime, right? November 16th. What day is that? Hmm. I guess it's like Wednesday, Tuesday or Wednesday.
Tuesday.
Tuesday. Okay. And I think you could probably start it today or tomorrow. Let's see.
Oh,
Let's
no,
start it
it's
today,
Monday.
right? So you could start it as soon as today. November 16th is Monday, I heard.
Yeah, it's Monday.
Okay. So you can start it today. You have until Monday. Chapters 4, 5, and 6, if I remember. Let's take a walk through. Okay, so let's see. So we have problem on traditional costing, 2 products. And then we have to do it again under the ABC system. Do you remember that? All right, so that's one. Then you've got this high-low method. Remember what you have something called mixed cost. Mixed cost. Mixed cost is a combination of both variable and fixed. So we need to determine how much is variable, how much is fixed. And to do that, you look at the high month versus the low month, and then you subtract the low month for the high month, right? And then you come up with the variable cost per unit, and then you subtract the variable cost from the total cost to get the fixed. If you remember, we had stuff like that for homework. And then we have these contribution margin question, contribution margin total, contribution margin per unit, contribution margin ratio. If you remember, contribution margin divided by sales price. Okay, and then here, sales increase to more units, how much will the profits increase? Remember, the fixed cost will stay the same. And then let's see, so we have more contribution margin, then we have break even, target profit, right? So remember, we did all of that last week, I believe it was. All right, so it doesn't look to be too bad. And that's due the 16th. Now notice exam 4 is due December 17th, right? We have plenty of time, plenty of time. These last 3 chapters, 7, 8, and 9, are really like one big chapter if you combine them, all right? Now, again, having said that, don't underestimate it, right? You should never underestimate an accounting class because, a couple of mistakes is the difference between an A and a C, unfortunately. If we look at the homework, the chapter 6 homework that we covered last week, that's due tomorrow. All right, let's take a look at that. 5 of you finished. 8 of you. That's half the class. Okay, so what do we have? We have a break-even problem, right? Break-even point in sales and sales dollars, a margin of safety question, and a target profit question, right? All in one. right? And then you've got another break even, sales dollars in units, a target profit, new break even points if these things happen. We did a problem like this last time, right? We did a problem, I think it was with ice cream. I did it with you. Right, so there's your homework. All right, now again, you know, you have these videos to look at. If you look at my video or you're working on your own and you're having problems, these videos are very good. You really should take advantage of that. I mean, I think next semester, it's not you, not your fault, but I think next semester I'm going to assign these and I'm going to put points on them. It doesn't affect you, but that's how much I think these things are worthwhile for you to watch. Okay, and let's see. So we have one video in this chapter. It's about a half hour long. Get comfortable. The video does the homework as well as the lecture all at once. And then when we're finished with that, we will do some more problems in class together. So let's get this started. Let me pause. Okay, so you see how those two, different types of problems are solved, right? And remember, you also have the hard copy if you want to print it out, and you can look at it to follow along as you're watching the video. All right, now let's take a look. I want to do a couple more problems, one of each.
Do we have a quiz or test coming up?
Yes.
We do?
Yes. Listen, I don't mean to be rude. I went over that earlier today, right?
I joined a little late. I was having trouble with my Wi-Fi.
Go on Blackboard. All the dates are there.
Okay.
Right? You really don't need to ask me. I mean, it's not that, that it's a big deal, but, part of doing this is that you have to learn to be independent, right? I mean, you can't depend on me like you can if I'm in a classroom.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there were two exercises I wanted to do. Exercise 11, which is a make or buy. Okay, exercise 11. Franny Fans currently manufactures ceiling fans that include remotes to operate them. The current cost to manufacture 10,000 remotes is as follows. So you have direct material, direct labor, variable overhead, and fixed overhead. Franny is approached by Lincoln Company, which offers to make the remotes for $18 a unit. Now, they didn't give you the unit prices here, right? So you have to figure that out. So how would you do that? Direct materials plus direct labor plus variable overhead. Remember, we kind of forget about fixed overhead here because we have other business that'll cover the fixed. So if I add these three together and then divide by 10,000, that'll tell me how much it costs me to make one of these remotes. And then I compare that to the 18 and I see which is cheaper, right? So number one, compute the difference in cost between making and buying the remotes. If none of the fixed costs can be avoided, what is the change in net income should managers make or buy All right, then compute the difference in cost between making and buying the remotes. If 20,000 of the fixed costs can be avoided, what is the change in net income should they make or buy? And what is the change in net income if fixed cost of 20,000 can be avoided and Franny could rent out the factory space no longer in use for $20,000 should they make or buy? All right. Why don't you take a few minutes and try to work that out? Why don't you take 5 minutes and we'll do the first part. Maybe we'll do it in parts rather than the whole thing at once, right? So take 5 minutes to see if you can get through part 1. Okay, so let's see. What do you think? Should they continue to make or buy for part one? They shouldn't do anything? They should all quit and find another job? What should they do? Okay. So this is exercise 7-11, and I think this was on page 333. And the first part, what are the costs to make? Right, and what were those costs? They were direct material, direct labor, and variable overhead, right? So that was 65,000 plus 55,000 plus 30,000, right? And if we add those all together, what do we get? $65 plus 55 plus 30 is $150,000. So it costs us $150,000 to make these things, right? And if we make 10,000 of them, right, that means it's costing us $15 per unit, right? And that's to make. To buy, $10,000 units times $18 to buy. Right, so that's $180,000. Right, so I guess the $15 a unit doesn't really mean anything here, right? But the difference is between to buy equals 180 and to make is 150, right? So that's a $30,000 difference, more expensive to buy. Continue to make, right? It's only costing me $150,000 to make. It's going to cost me $180,000 to buy, so kind of a no-brainer there, right? Now, part two, remember what part two said? Part two said, what's the difference between making and buying if you can't avoid the fixed cost, if you have to continue to pay the fixed cost? How would that change things? Well, now the cost to make is not 150,000, right? What is the cost to make now? The cost to make is going to be 65,000 plus 55,000 plus 30,000 plus you still have the fixed cost of 20. So that's $170,000, right? It's going to cost you to make 170,000. Cost to buy is what? Cost to buy is the same as before. It's $10,000. 10,000 units times $18 a unit is $180,000. $180,000. Right? So to buy 180, to make 170, difference of 10, right? More expensive to buy, continue to make. So in part one, it was $30,000 more to buy. So for sure you'll make. In part two, it's 10,000 more to buy. You'll continue to make. Right? Now part three. What is the change in net income if the $20,000 in fixed costs can be avoided and Franny could rent out the factory space no longer in use for $20,000? Why don't you take 5 minutes to see if you can figure that part out? Okay, so the cost to buy, right? And we figured that out before is 180. The cost to make, maybe we should do this a little different. The cost to make is, counting everything, counting the fixed costs, right? We calculated up here is 170. The cost to buy is 180, but if we do that, we'll free up additional space in our building. And they said that we could rent that space out for, was it $20,000? We could rent that space out for $20,000. So it's not really costing us 180. Right? It's costing us 160, right? Which means we'll make $10,000 in additional profit. Now, right, it makes sense to buy, right, rather than make. All right. So that's problem exercise 11. There was one other one I wanted to do, exercise 13. Okay, this is a special order type of problem. Ironwood Company manufactures a variety of sunglasses. Production information for its most popular line, Clear Vista, follows. So per unit, they sell the sunglasses for $37.50. These are all the costs, right, including fixed overhead. Suppose that Ironwood has been approached about producing a special order of 2,000 pairs of glasses for a new semi-professional volleyball league. I don't know why you would need sunglasses to play. Oh, I guess you play on the beach, right? All units in the special order would be produced in the league's signature colors with a specially designed logo emblem attached to the side of the glasses. The league has offered to pay $32 per unit in the special order. Additional costs for the special order include $2 per unit for mixing the special frame color and purchasing the emblem with the team's logo that will be attached to the glasses. Assume that Ironwood has the idle capacity necessary to accommodate the order. Calculate the additional contribution margin Ironwood would make by accepting the special order. All right, so that's pretty simple. You would take the selling price, which is what? 32, minus the variable cost, minus this extra $2, right? Because you have additional costs of 2, times the 2,000 pairs of glasses. So that's how you would handle that. Next, suppose Ironwood is currently operating its production facility at full capacity, and accepting the special order would mean reducing production of its regular model. Should they accept the special order in this case, why or why not? All right, so yeah, I would guess that they may lose money doing it, right? So should they do it anyway? And third, calculate the special order price per unit at which Ironwood is indifferent between accepting or rejecting the special order. So this is similar to the problem that we did with the company that made the game for, remember that state of Oregon problem? Right, so why don't you see what you can do with that? Take a few minutes, right, and see what you can do with that. Okay, so if they take on this order, how much more money will they make? In other words, what's the additional contribution margin? So this is exercise 7-13. This was also page 399, I believe. Or thereabouts. Let's see, where was it? Ah, 336. Right, part one, additional contribution margin, right? So the selling price was $32 less right? The direct materials, direct labor, variable overhead, 632. Right, and then there was that additional $2. That additional $2 that was the added cost of the special order, right? Remember they had a $2 extra to put an emblem on there, and they had a special color that it was. So the contribution margin now will be what? $19 for a pair of glasses. So 2,000 pairs of glasses times $19. The additional contribution margin will be, right, 38,000 added contribution margin. All right, so that's the answer to part one. Then part two, suppose that Ironwood is currently operating its production facility at full capacity, and accepting the special order would mean reducing production of its regular model. Should they accept the order in this case? Why or why not? Okay, so based strictly on dollars and cents, the current contribution margin is what? It's the selling price. Maybe we should just do the whole thing out here. It's the sales price, right? And the sales price for a pair of glasses normally is $37.50 less direct materials minus 6, direct labor minus 3, variable overhead minus 2. right? So if I do that, my normal contribution margin is $26.50, right? Current contribution margin is $26.50, right? If I take the order, the contribution margin is going to be $19. So that's what, a $7.50 difference? I'll be losing $7.50 per pair of glasses, right? So under normal conditions, right? I mean, just based strictly on dollars and cents, they should not accept the special order because they will be losing $7.50 per pair of glasses, right? And if you multiply that by 2,000 pairs of glasses, that's $15,000, right? No, it's 30,000. No, yeah, it's $15,000. They would be losing $15,000 by doing that. Now, part 3, what's the price that they should charge to accept that order? In other words, we don't want to lose any money, but what price should we charge so that we come out at least the same as we would if we just made the glasses normally like we normally do, right? Now, remember in that homework problem, there was that $500 modification cost, remember? So we would have to charge whatever we normally would charge for the thing that we're making. I think it was $12 in that case for the CD that we were making, plus 50 cents to recoup those modification costs. Here it's similar. So here what we would do is we would take our normal selling price, normal sales price, which is $37.50, and add to that the added cost of the special order. I remember that was $2 for a pair of glasses because they had to be a special color that we didn't normally make, and we had to attach an emblem to them. So we would have to charge them $39.50 revised sales price to accept special order. Right? So maybe they would do that if we sat down and said, listen, we'd love to do business with you. It would be an honor to make the glasses for your team. You know, what if it was the Olympics, for example, right? I mean, that's free advertising. If you put your logo on those glasses and millions of people from all over the world are watching that, that's free advertising. So I don't know, sometimes you have to maybe not make as much money as you normally do, even lose a little bit of money in order to get that exposure, because you know, it could lead to thousands of dollars in additional sale. But they didn't ask us that, right? You know, a lot of times accountants just strictly do things based on dollars and cents, and it's the other people, the salespeople, the marketing people, that make those other decisions based on things like that. Hard to quantify that, right? But okay. So any questions on any of this? I mean, it's arithmetic. It's not really that complicated, but you know, you have to methodically go through it and look for certain things. Okay. So if there's no questions, I'm going to say let's call it a day. And I'll see you next week. chapter 8.
Have a good weekend, Professor.
You too,
we
guys.
Thank you.
Thank
Have
you,
a good weekend.
Professor.
Thank you.